what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dollar in the Dorm. Today we're going to be going over a bunch of different stuff, what we did over J-term, and we have a very special guest on today. Andy, I'm going to give it to you.
All right, what's up, guys? Today I brought Aidan, my good friend, and he's running a company called Instant Shorts AI, which you guys will hear about a little bit later. And he's very knowledgeable in both the AI space, software development, and he keeps up with the trends, kind of like me. So we usually have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So let's get into this episode. First, I really want to talk about, we set a lot of goals before break, and I know Jaden said he was doing a lot of traveling and really wanted to work on his personal brand. I want you to elaborate, like, did those come out well, and did you hit those metrics that you were aiming for?
Yeah, so I did a lot of traveling. It was awesome. Went to New York City for a couple days. Took a trip out west to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It was some of the best trips of my life. And yeah, I would definitely say that my personal brand definitely popped off a lot more during the traveling period. I spent a lot of money, but I didn't make a lot of money. I spent a lot of money, but it was all worth it, and it was a great experience for sure.
At least you were drippy on the trip.
Yeah, for sure.
Drip never dies. As for me, I set a lot of goals for myself, and I really stuck to them. I completely locked in over break. Maybe took like 2 nights off the entire time, went to art museum, went out for New Year's for a few hours, but really it was all a grind. And the goal of it was to first get the app update out, which we did, and second, get people on the app using it and really post every day for social media and come up with a good plan, as well as try to further establish a clothing brand. And what I did with that was got this month we have 1,000 different users on the app, which is a dream come true for me. People are using it.
That's huge.
We're getting really good feedback. Right now, we're trying to work on an update for the account system, which will hopefully come out by the end of the week. But really with the social media, every single morning I would wake up and I would not sleep. I would not move until I did 2 posts or something like that for both personal brand, Sparkly, and I was running 4 different Sparkly accounts across 5 different platforms. So total, I was doing, I think, like 16 to 20 different posts, and some of them were the same a day, which I thought that was what was necessary. It got us some good traction, but I realized I couldn't put all my focus into one thing, and I was doing mid and everything else. And that's something I definitely learned, was to focus in on one thing. And I had a lot of people tell me that too. They're like, you're doing a lot of mid stuff. Let's do something great with one thing. So that's something I learned, I guess. So I'm not doing 20 different posts a day on different platforms, but we're narrowing down and really starting to find what's working for us. And I'd say that's about the extent of my break. One thing I learned with the clothing brand was really, as a founder, you need to put your focus in one thing. And if you don't, if it's too narrow, if you're doing too many things at once, you won't be good at any one thing. And I want to be good at one thing, and it's making people happy on the app. So I'm kind of delaying the clothing brand part of it, even though we had some cool stuff. We had a patentable part of our clothing, which I can't really get too much into, but maybe we'll bring it back one day. But for now, we're using it for our ambassadors program, which we're starting to bring up from the ground. And that's something really fun to learn and start to do.
That's awesome.
Thank you, bro.
That is sick.
What?
I think that's sick that you made that progress. Going off what you said, I'd say I did learn something similar when it comes to not being able to focus on so much shit at once. You got to just lock in on one specific thing. At least that's what I've noticed. There were 20 different things I wanted to build out over break, because I felt like all of them could have an impact in a different way. And then I realized I can't build all 20 things by myself. I mean, each one would take me probably a couple days times 20. That's way longer than break. And then I wouldn't have even finished the main thing. And yeah, so during break, I quickly realized that I wanted to focus on the core technology and just really improving what the framework is capable of when it comes to making these AI videos. So I'd say that was my biggest progress, was just improving the framework and the quality of the videos, and really just trying to get ready for the pitch I have in Cincinnati.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Tell us a little bit about your company, Instant Shorts AI.
Yeah, no one knows what you're talking about.
From somebody that has no idea.
Okay.
And first, let's talk about the problem. Why did you make
Yeah.
this?
So basically, before I even knew how to code and all that shit, right? I was just very engaged when it came to learning how to grow accounts on social media. That just quickly became a passion to me. I'd say, I think my sophomore year, that's when I started to learn how to grow these accounts online. And I first started by creating a page from scratch,
Mm.
following a shit ton of people, and then
You're good. You're good.
okay. So creating an account from scratch, just following a shit ton of people, trying to get them to follow me back, post some content related to that niche.
Mm.
And that just helped me grow to around a couple thousand followers. I did that over the course of a couple of weeks. And then once you get to a certain point, you start to get organic growth from Instagram, right? So I was able to grow my first
Really?
account to 100,000 followers, I'd say in around a little under a year. That's
Wow.
definitely lucky, much better than the average
Yeah, tell me
from what you'll
about
see.
it.
But it's also not that far fetched if you follow the right formula. And I decided to repeat that formula on a couple of other accounts. And I think all of my accounts combined, I grew them to around 350 total, 350,000 total followers.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you. What is this secret growth formula that you use to gain 350,000 followers as a sophomore now, freshman in college?
Yeah, so really it's not secret, it's consistency. A lot of the time people will start growing these accounts, they'll go, "Oh shit, I'm getting 50 views a video. I barely have any followers. I'm going to throw in the towel and I'm going to do something else," right?
Mm.
And that is where 99% of people stop. They stop at that rough plateau point. But then if you're able to continue to learn from what works, learn what doesn't work, figure out how to incorporate what works while pushing away what doesn't work, and then just really consistency, that is how you eventually hit that exploding point when it comes to social media.
Yeah, dude. Definitely. I think I've always heard consistency is big, but I remember you told me a little bit about the side of the following, unfollowing,
Oh yeah.
that type of method. Let's go a bit more into that. Like, what can you do to grow 1,000 followers in a week?
Okay, so this is actually different people have different opinions. Some people see it as like a dirty method. They think they're too good for it,
Mm.
right? And I think in some cases you are going to be too good for it. Like if you're Target, right? Like a
Yeah.
brand like Target, you don't want to do follow for follow.
Yeah.
But follow for follow is essentially where you find accounts, small accounts that are similar to your small page, and then you follow the people that are following that account. And then they're going to be
Mm.
interested in your account most likely because they're following an account very similar to your account. So they're probably going to follow you back. And if you can find the right places and people to follow, from my experience, you can get anywhere from a 70 to 80% follow back ratio. And yeah, once you got that, you can easily get to, I'd say, around 1,000 followers a week.
That's outrageous. And I think, yeah, to get 1,000 followers a week, you're not just following like similar pages and people like you. You're following the pages that are like you's followers, which is such a
Exactly.
unique thing because you're finding your target audience
Exactly.
within they're following brands like you. So you're finding your target audience through other brands, which is something that I don't really hear from anyone else. And that's such something that's underrated. And I think that anyone starting something out should do that. And really don't think about having, oh, I can't follow anyone back. I'm this prestigious brand. Like, bro, you've 4 followers. Like,
Yeah.
let's follow some people back. You can always unfollow them, but I think it's so important. Like you said, like you got to grow immediately, and
Yeah, exactly.
you showing up on their page is something similar. They'll probably like your content too.
Yeah, I think my follower ratio to average like ratio on a post when I had around 2,000 to 3,000 followers on the account that blew up,
Mm.
I think it was around like 30 to 40%,
Wow.
which
Yeah.
that's unheard of, I believe. I mean, I almost never see accounts at that size get that many likes unless it's some hot girl on Instagram, right? But the accounts that are actually building brands,
Mm.
they're not going to get that engagement unless they do have the perfect kind of followers. And then
That-
Instagram sees
yeah.
that, and that's when they want to push you out to a broader audience, and they'll give you that free organic reach. And that's how you reach millions of people, and then all of a sudden explode to 10,000, 20, 100,000 followers.
Yeah, that's an awesome way of looking at it. And I think that really it's just taking out your ego and saying, I'm going to follow people and hopefully they follow me back. It's not the end of the world if I'm following more people and follow me. Like, whatever. It's get rid of the ego. It's your business. You got to make some sacrifices. And
Exactly.
I think that's what's really needed to go viral. So yeah, let's go a bit more into what problem you faced and why you wanted to really start Instant Shorts AI.
Yeah, so I faced two problems actually. One, I hate the repetitive process that these accounts took. I mean, I personally have ADHD, but
Mm.
I also saw the potential that I could have when it came. If what if I instead of running 4 accounts at the same time, I ran 100 accounts at the same time because I had the formula down. So
Mhm.
why not go from 4 accounts to 100 accounts, and then all of a sudden, instead of making like a couple $1,000s, I'm making a couple $100,000.
That's interesting. So like
But
just accounts.
exactly, scale. When it comes to social media, you want scale and you want to do what works, and that is how you make a large sum of money. And when you see those theme pages on social media,
Mhm.
if someone's only running one theme page, they're making pennies, right? But if you're able to run just a portfolio of all these different pages in multiple niches, that is how you can not just create a brand, but also create a company and a side hustle that will set you up for a very long time.
Okay, so what does this have to do with Instant Shorts?
Yeah, so that was the problem I discovered. I'm personally not trying to put in 80 hours a week doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. I just physically, mentally am not, my brain can't allow me to do that.
I get that. It's so
So,
hard.
but it's also repetitive. So I feel like it should be able to be done. And then I started thinking about it and I realized I feel like someone could build a software that could just automate this entire process.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I did well in my coding class, like sophomore year. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and figure out how to make this software, and that's what I've been working on the past 8 months, and it's pretty much built.
Hey, so I want to talk a little bit about DeepSeek and what that means for us as college entrepreneurs. And I know a lot of people don't understand the loose term thrown around API, but ChatGPT is like 4 times more expensive than it, maybe even more.
Oh, it's like 100 times more expensive.
And DeepSeek steals your data. It's China. They probably do worse stuff with it, but it's 100 times cheaper. So,
Well,
uh,
also though, they probably do steal your data if you're using their platform, but they release their model into the public for free. So if you're using it, you could use it on your own servers. You can use
mm,
it on maybe Amazon's servers. You're not stuck to the company DeepSeek. I mean, I don't know what their
And the
company is.
API is free too, right? They released that publicly.
API
Public
is not
API.
no,
free,
it's not free. You got,
but you can
it's
use it for
super-
free on
it's-
the internet.
Yeah,
It's
super
really cheap. Yeah,
I
use
heard
it just 'cause
it's
so
all
cheap.
open code. Like everything's open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which ChatGPT is not happy because they allegedly spent $6 million on making this, like computing and everything.
I thought it was
and
billion.
training. No, they spent $6 million.
I thought it was $1 billion.
It maybe should be because ChatGPT spent over $1 billion making their
That's
model,
what it is.
and they're mad because it's like, how can you make something just as good or better than what we made with $6 million? And they used a different type of algorithmic thinking, which they claim makes it easier and computing costs less. But it's still absolutely crazy how they could make that for uh, a thousandth of a
yeah.
like it's insane. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'm conflicted, right? Part of
Mm.
me is excited because this just means that entrepreneurs in this space can make much cheaper, effective products.
Mm.
And they also, because obviously, if you use DeepSeek's platform, your privacy is an issue.
Yeah.
But since they released this model in the open for free, you can use it on your own company servers. You can use it on some trusted cloud hosting servers.
Mm.
This is going to increase the privacy that these companies have with AI. So let's say you're creating a new technology that's going to help people with their healthcare.
Mm.
You need that information locked down in private, right?
Yeah.
But you
Yes.
can, so maybe you don't even trust OpenAI, their API, because you don't want them
No,
having that
yeah.
information. You don't know what they're going to do with it. Maybe you're that paranoid. Maybe you need that much security. Well, you can take DeepSeek's they made multiple models,
Yeah.
all that are amazing.
Recreate it.
Yeah.
And then make your own.
Not even recreate it, it's copy paste.
Yeah, copy paste, make your own large language model where you're hosting stuff. It
Exactly.
might cost some money, but for that, you're totally right. For data storage protection, that's
Mhm.
absolutely revolutionary. Like, I mean, you still gotta like prevent it from getting hacked pretty well,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, you can just take their stuff and make your own, which is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Although the conflicting side of this that I still don't know what to think yet,
Mm.
since this was released and it's open, anyone can use it. That means anyone with malicious intent can take this model, and technically it is censored, but anyone that has any kind of
Brains.
any kind of knowledge in this space can pretty quickly figure out how to jailbreak a model and then also fine tune it to their malicious purposes, right? So
Yeah.
let's say maybe you want to make a model that can easily hack home Wi-Fi, and then you do that at scale and then hack 100 million homes,
Let's not
right?
give our viewers any ideas.
Oh yeah, but like stuff like that just isn't that far away. And companies like DeepSeek, yes, this is very exciting. I obviously use it, right? Everyone's gonna
Yeah,
use it
I do
because it's
too.
just so good. But if everyone can use it, people with malicious intent can do much more than what they would have been able to do with any other closed source model.
You're totally right. AI ethics is going to be a big problem. And if you guys are looking for jobs to go in, think that you're an ethical person, you might consider looking into that because there's going to be a lot of court cases and new studies that come out in the near future about that. But I want to shift our focus and talk about what it really means to want it. Because that's something so many people say they want it. And on social media, there's all this motivational content, but so much of the time that content's just showing an ideal life. And people send it to their friends saying, this will be you and me, bro, like, or I want this, they'll like it. But do they really want it? And that's something I want to go over today. Jaden, to you, what does it mean when someone really wants it?
I mean, for me, wanting it is not just about like waking up every single morning and being like, damn, I got to work hard today. Like, I got to do all this stuff every single day to complete my task. Like, I think it's more of like inside of you and having that deep drive and like that. I don't really know how to explain it. Just that character of getting all of your stuff done, like working hard in every single aspect of your life and behind closed doors when you're alone, I feel like is the most important part. And I feel like it's just your drive and your willingness to win.
Dude, I think you're totally you hit the nail on the head with that one. I think it's really just you got to be able to wake up every single day. And sure, you might wake up early, but you got to stay disciplined. And I've learned when I'm disciplined, I'm productive. When I'm not disciplined, I'm not. When I'm not journaling, not like journaling, but when I'm not writing down my goals every day, when I'm not planning the next day and all the metrics I got to hit before I go to sleep, I don't get it. I don't get everything done. I just kind of mess around all day. And it's become a daily habit, at least in my life, to make sure I have goals for every day, every quarter, every year. And I will go at all lengths to hit those goals and make another thing is sacrifices. To be disciplined, you must make sacrifices. And for me, that was not going out a lot, not being able to see friends sometimes, not hanging out with the family a lot, sometimes skipping meals, working hours straight because you have meeting after meeting after meeting. But all this in the end is because you really want it. And I think that's what it really takes is being disciplined and being able to make sacrifices.
100%.
Sure. Honestly, to me, I feel like if you want it enough, it's going to get to a point where you feel like you need it. And then when you need something, that internal drive, it's just going to be there. And you're going to, if you need to succeed, you need to win. If you feel like you need to do this, you are going to do everything in your power, use all your energy to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, and an interesting study is, could you build your entire platform in the next week?
I think
just answer the question.
Entire platform, I'd say 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. Well, if your whole family's life depended on it, could you?
I could do it in a week, yeah.
Exactly. I think that's something that's so unique. When people have family, when they have something that is counting on them or they have an external motivation that makes it so they need to do it, that's what really makes you successful. And that's what makes you be able to achieve all of your goals. So finding that internal thing where maybe it's not your family dying, but it's something that if you don't do this, something bad will happen, might be the right mindset to have when trying to achieve a new goal.
I've seen a bunch of those videos where it's like, if you had the chance to make, like, if your whole entire family died, you had to make $1 million by the end of the year. Could you do it? And everybody's like, yes,
100%
yes,
success
yes.
rate. And it's like, where's that coming from,
Yeah, like,
right?
why don't you then?
And it's
why don't you?
And that's really just the perfect mindset to have, really, because if you should be that motivated and you should work that hard because you'll cut out all your bad distractions. You'll cut out your bad habits when everything depends on it.
For
Um, Jaden's fixing the cameras right now. It's really funny to watch.
sure. It is really funny.
But yeah, I want to get into something else that at least I learned was when I did a photo shoot. A lot of people want to start brands, clothing brands, brands for their company. And one thing's brand image, and it's pretty clear like what your brand image can be or not. Like you can make really funny videos, but you want to keep everything on brand, kind of keep it consistent, make people be like, oh, that's Sparkly, oh, that's Instant Shots, oh, that's Golf Balls Pro, right? They want to be familiarized with your format. But something I learned was I tried to do too professional of photo shoots for our clothing brand. And although we're not pursuing it as much anymore, it was really like an interesting point for me to hear from someone that why are we doing professional photos for a brand that's lifestyle? It should be something that's just caught in public, like something like you're taking a picture of someone in their natural space. Like I have a relationship couples brand, and it should be just couples on a date wearing it. It shouldn't be like a professional shoot where they're really like on a white background and there's all this nice stuff because we're not models. Our whole thing's not everyone's perfect, right? It's that everyone is imperfect, but that's what makes us beautiful and that's what brings us together. And I thought that was just something really interesting was our brands don't have to be perfect, but they have to be on brand and they have to relate to your audience and your message. So when considering that and say doing a photo shoot, a big takeaway I had was to keep it on brand and make it align with your brand image. And yeah, I thought that was just something I learned, and I thought you guys might want to know that too when you guys might start your next brands. Is not it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be authentic.
I feel like that's really smart too in your position to really focus on the app, what it originally was and what you started with. And like doing all those other stuff is good, but like really dialing in on the app, I feel like is going to be really beneficial for you and for your time.
It's what we need to do. Actually, over break, I helped set up for a work Christmas party, a bunch of local entrepreneurs there. And one guy named Sean, he told me something that ringed in my head for literal days. He said, focus on the app, bro. And this dude's really credible. He runs startups. He owns a place that I work at. Like he knows everyone. And so many times he'd see me working on other stuff. He'd be like, just work on the app, bro. He tapped me on the shoulder, just work on the app, bro. And after like 2 days of that, it was the only thing I could hear in my head, just work on the app, bro. I called like 20 people. I think I might have even called Jaden about this. But I called my uncle, I called family members, I called people that don't even care about business. I'm like, what should I do? Because I don't know. We made these really cool things. People want them. But everyone's saying to work on the app because it has this grand vision that's might be much better and more fruitful and help more people. And that was a decision I made over break to just not to stop the clothing brand, but use it just use it as a resource to give to people for free, make people's days better, but work on the app, bro. That's something that it really changed my life and it helped change my focus completely and productivity.
I could have told you that months ago.
Why didn't you?
I swear I've said that.
Something that really resonated for me is just after that I've been so focused and I've got 10 times more done than spreading myself thin. And I really thought that was one of the most meaningful conversations I ever had in my life.
That's awesome.
So to be successful as a founder, something I've realized is you have to talk to your target audience every single day. And like Golf Balls Pro, for example, you guys were making videos, making behind the scenes, telling how you got the golf balls, how you cleaned it. But for me, it's going up to people, telling them about the app, how it could help them or what they would want from it. And that's been something that's been so meaningful, these customer interviews, seeing what they want, maybe what they would pay for it, certain features they might want. But I realized, like, if I'm not doing that, what am I doing? If I'm not talking to people, growing it every day, then how is it going to succeed? Because I really think, like, I see so many people just narrowing in, building a product and not making sure they fully understand the problem as well as fully understanding what the people want from them. And you'll build a whole product and no one will want it, and you won't even have had stuff to show for it. So, Aiden, I wanted to hear. I know you're recently starting. Like, what's
Oh
your
yeah.
plan? Because I know what you're doing is new. It's very niche. What's your plan to start doing that?
Yeah, so when it comes to customer interviews, I think I did like a very unconventional form of customer
Mhm.
interviews because me myself, I knew I would love that kind of product and I'm involved in the space, so
Yeah.
that's already one done. And then just I'd spent so much time talking to all these other people growing these pages, and some were kind of able to get over the hump and actually make a living off the niche, but so many weren't because it was just so much work. They needed an ability to produce content at scale, and
Mhm.
that was what everyone just came to. There's not enough scale. It's too repetitive. It takes too much time, and I take that as my like, okay, someone needs to build something. No one's building it. I'm gonna build it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just take that, grab by the balls and take action. I mean, that's really what you got to do. And I think you being able to talk to people in that space, other people that grow accounts, are definitely the perfect people to
Oh yeah,
talk to about this. Because, I mean, early adopters, so important. They got to try out it, tell you what they like, what they
for
don't
sure.
like. And those are perfect early adopters for you.
I
So
agree.
definitely just giving them your software for free costs a little bit of money, but
Yeah,
it's the best thing to do because you can interview them, get feedback.
I think so.
So yeah, Jaden, what do you think about that?
Sorry, what were we talking about?
Bro's not locked in right
Yeah,
now.
I think that's awesome. Instant Shorts AI. I feel like there's not a lot of people that are doing stuff like that right now. Like a couple things were coming up on my LinkedIn feed. It was like 30 million views from the software that I created, and it was just like kind of like the same short-term video content. And I feel like that is just such a great space to be in right now because everybody's talking about short-term content,
Yeah,
and a way to AI automate that is huge.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Because like
Short form
everything's
content.
running by like everything's ran by AI right now, and just an easy way out for somebody to make content like that for their brand
hmm
and for their company, small business, anything is huge.
it's especially crazy what like text to image, image to video can
Mm-hmm.
do because now like even ChatGPT is a model Sora. It actually kind of works. It finally started working for me,
Sora.
and I use Sora and Runway. Runway is really good, but you can make good videos. Like on my social media, Sparkly, if you go on one of the videos, the Tulips one, I use pictures and made videos out of them. And
So you imported the photos and then told
yeah, told it what
told
to
it
do
what
with
to
it.
do.
It made it
That's
like
sweet.
lifestyle. So instead of like a couple just like standing there,
Did you
like
use Doll to make the
no, I used
Mid-Journey?
I used Midjourney. Midjourney's the best for realistic stuff. But I had a couple walking in a tulips field, and I had them like literally just walking hand in hand. It's absolutely amazing. And with what Aiden's doing with this, if he continues to work with his AI abilities, it's going to be absolutely crazy what he
Oh
can
yeah.
create. Like text to video. That's something that's so new, but like
It's
just
developing every
just
single day and
just
evolving.
imagine it's gonna be crazy.
I do think this technology is really exciting. And what's even more exciting about this technology is not just the core technologies and models that are built, but
Mhm.
what's capable when you take those technologies and put them within a framework that can create
Yeah.
an even more excellent output and product.
Yeah, totally. Okay, just camera check, camera check. So I wanted to get in another talking point today, and a lot of people have asked me about this, which is budgeting in college. It's not necessarily an easy thing to do. There's so many things you can do, so many opportunities, and every single one of them costs money. So, I mean, making an app that basically gives ideas what to do. I know other things to do, and I've become resourceful through making that. But some of the ways I want to really get into are like when you go out with your friends, you get hungry and you buy food. And this can be a very repetitive process. It really adds up. If you eat food out 5 times a week, that's like at least $80 a week. $80 a week is for most people like 6 to 8 hours of working after taxes. So doing all that math, like you have to work just to eat out. So I would think like, how can you optimize how you're eating out so that you're not losing an insane amount of money? I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but just going out like and like alone and then eating food after really adds up. So how can you make stuff in your dorm, buy stuff at a local grocery store, and maybe cook it back at your dorm when you get back? to save money? Because that's one thing I've noticed, and I've just through a lot of thinking thought might be the best way to approach saving money in college.
For me, I like to just take advantage of the dining halls. I'll wake up
Yeah.
early and then go to the dining hall, eat a quick meal, do some homework, and then after the homework, I'll want to eat some more food. I'll eat more food, and then that's
Mm.
kind of like 2 meals right there, and just used one meal swipe for two, basically.
Yeah, and that's totally valid. As well as, do I really need this? That's something that so many people I see, they buy stuff that they want on impulse when they have a limited budget in college. People, the average response from people I heard, I did a little survey, was they spent around 3,000 their first semester. That's a lot of money. And if they ask themselves when they bought every single thing, do I need this every time? I
That would
guarantee
have been cut in half.
that would have been at least cut in half, if not more. And that's something I think that as a college student, you should ask yourself before buying things is, do I really need this? And could I do something else that would save money? Because in the end, you need to save your money for one, if you're running a business, save it for that. Two, you want to save it maybe if you want to go on a trip later or something. Three, it's nice to have money so you can invest it in something like maybe XRP, like that's going to go to the moon. But but really, it's, do I need this thing that I'm going to buy? And that's the question. Do I need it?
Yeah, I'm horrible at this, so I can't really add any value into this conversation. But
I mean, but it's definitely something to look at. As a lot of people spend so much money to save it, that's a great way and a great outlook. Do I need this thing right now? Could I just wait? Could I just skip it? Could I just make the little sacrifice to save the money for the long term? But yeah, I think that's about it with that. But in college, it's really just being smart about how you spend your money. So many people have just asked, like, dude, I'm like out of money already. I need a job. Like, and jobs take up a lot of time. They keep spending the money. It's just, how can you be smart about making that decision, which is something I think I did a pretty good job of it. Spent, at least for college stuff. Business stuff is a different story, but for college stuff, a little bit under $1,000 my whole first semester, which is, I'd say, pretty good, around $700. So, including everything, and I won't get into all that on camera, but you guys can probably guess. So, all right. So I want to go into a bit of your guys' stories, how you balance college and, like, for you, Jaden, rushing, hard credit hours, working out, staying motivated, and your connection with God. How do you balance all that?
so for me, my days are super busy. Usually starts really early and ends very late. Caffeine is a big help. It gets me through some really tough days. But yeah, like just trying to fit the gym in, doing all the stuff with the frat. It's all just really good stuff. My brain is just completely fried after a week of doing this because I'm literally never thinking about something. Like I'm never just in my own head because I'm always consistently doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I lay down at night, I just fall right asleep. I've been getting the best sleep of my life, but like my day to day is like, oh, I wake up, I go to class, I go to the house, I do a couple stuff like around the house, like do some stuff for that. And then I go to class again. I'll do some stuff. I'll try and hit the gym, but like some days I just can't because I have no time. And then like I'm usually at the house later that night. And then I do homework when I get back. But it's a long day, and it's hard. But I think it's for me it's easy to maintain.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how I was all summer with pressure washing and Golf Balls Pro. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely grind. What did you have to give up to pursue all of these things?
I didn't really have to give up anything. Like obviously my time in the gym is one of the biggest things because I used to go to the gym every single day and I just can't do that anymore. I mean, I could if I really wanted to, but I just don't have the time when I would rather be doing other things. But yeah, I didn't really give up anything. My time, I gave up a lot of time pledging a fraternity. It's just super time consuming anywhere you go.
Yeah.
That's like that's like a given. And I'm like totally okay with that because it's gonna be totally worth it in the end. But yeah, that's basically all I gave up.
Yeah, totally. It's a big sacrifice for big rewards. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, Aidan. So for you, how do you balance, being a college student, taking a lot of credit hours, working out, staying motivated, and whatever else you do, and instant shorts
Oh yeah,
specifically? How
for
do you
sure.
balance all this?
So for me, something that I've started doing that's just really increased my productivity so much is I like to go to bed before 12 a.m. every night now, unless it's like a Saturday or Friday or one of those nights. But like during every weeknight, if I'm able to go to bed before 12 a.m., I can typically get up at like 7 or even before that when no one else is awake. And then I have nothing else to do but just go eat, bring my computer, and get a shit ton of work done, whether it's on my company, maybe it's a bunch of homework. Um, but for me, once I get in that productivity state early in the day, I just stay like that for the rest of the day, and then I just keep getting stuff done and keep getting stuff done, and it's just a flow throughout the whole day.
So, like, how do you, like, and you just work out? That's just part of the flow.
Yeah, just whenever I'm feeling it.
Sweet. Um, for me, I'd say balancing like my business with like college, being in Side Hustle Club, Red Hawk Ventures, which is investment analyst, plus doing like million other things. In connection with God too. The way I do it is, plan out the day before. Always the biggest thing I'll talk about. But I just don't get a lot of sleep. That's one sacrifice I got to make. But two is when I made all my classes super early, so I'm typically done by at least 4. And I don't have classes on Friday obviously through Sunday. So I got a good break there to get a lot of work done, catch up on stuff, but really just lock in those times and in between classes, get as much homework done as possible so that when I'm done with that, I can, work on the app, do social media, do team calls, and then go to the gym after my brain's fried and then take a mini power nap and then get up and do a bunch more work. So it's kind of what my day looks like. But connection with God, it's definitely been, especially when you're busy all the time, it's hard to sometimes step back and really be spiritual, I'd say. So it's really just giving that time, and I try to think of what I'm thankful for every day, and then I challenge myself to show it the next day. So that's been a little thing I've been doing to try to be a little bit more spiritual and stay connected with God and my religion.
Yeah, for sure.
Jan, I know you had a few things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so for I've had a bunch of people ask me a couple questions on how to start posting social media content. And the first step is literally just by taking action and doing and recording literally everything.
Yes.
If you have something that you really love, somebody else in the world definitely has the same interest. And if you're really good at it, like, why not record it and why not post it on your social media? Because there's somebody that would find it entertaining. Literally just like post, like, it could be anything. Lifting to arts and crafts to entrepreneurship. Like, I had one of my buddies, he asked me about like how to start posting lifting content. And I was literally like, just get a tripod and start doing it. Like, the first step of doing that is taking action.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that don't know where to start and like have no idea how to do anything. And I lost my train of thought.
Well, I'd say everyone's in that position once, because when I started, I didn't know even how to use CapCut. Still barely do, but it's really just over time you just get better. It's like anything. It's like you practice basketball. You're just going to get better over time. And that's why you should just do something that you love and just do it every day. That's the hardest thing I'd say, is be consistent, do it every day. But like you said, Jaden, my biggest flaw with my company, what I think held us back significantly, like we'd be way farther ahead now, was if I started documenting the journey as well as like recording, making social media content. I didn't do any of that until a year and a half in working on my startup, which is crazy. I was in full build mode and I thought I was doing something productive, but in the end, I only had 200 people knowing about what I do, which that is not traction. You should have thousands of people knowing what you do, knowing who you are, knowing that type of stuff. Had zero personal brand. And that's my biggest regret to this day, is not starting earlier and not posting every day, or really at all.
I saw this one startup. I don't know if anybody's seen it. day one of asking Alex Earl to be my co-founder in my app. And he literally did not have an app at all, like didn't have anything built yet. He just posted that video day one until day 50. And the first video went viral. He has 300,000 followers.
Wow.
And I don't know if that number's accurate, but he got 500,000 views on this video, and he has no app, no concept, or like he has the concept down, just the idea, and he already has so many people supporting him and has so many users already, but there's no app.
He went viral before even having to make the product, and that's something that, I mean, for beta testing and stuff, that's something you need to do. Is you need to have some traction, some people wanting it, because why are you gonna build something that no one wants? Because in the end, you're just wasting your time. You got to make sure there's a market need, and by doing social media, being consistent, doing something in your niche, that's going to be the way to do it. That's definitely a good example.
The app was called Style, and his day 2 video got 2.2 million views.
Alex Earl to be my co-founder. I'm a student at Duke, currently building Style.
It's actually, the app idea is super cool. It's basically you just importing all of your clothes into this app, and then it makes
stuff for you. I've heard that idea a million times, but if you have someone like Alex Earl as the brand face,
it's like
you're
Tinder.
gonna be successful.
It's like Tinder for clothes too. So you can like swipe on Tinder and swipe right on the ones that you like.
Oh, just like the date ideas.
On it's literally
Yeah, it's definitely a concept a lot of apps are doing, including myself, is kind of doing the swipe right, swipe left, save, because now a lot of apps are pulling a bunch of information together and making a database and then making it personalized for you. So if you're making an app, that's definitely something to consider, because I'm even doing it. It's something that just works and people know how to use it now. It's kind of hard to build, but you'll figure it out.
I also do think something like that is what's going to make it go viral,
Yeah, totally. And you can be like, it's Tinder, but for this.
Exactly. And that kind of hook.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make so many fire hooks from that.
Yeah.
I think at least.
Yeah, totally. And I'm thinking just for that Style one, it's like you say Alex Earl, you're getting half of her followers see that. And then you give a cool thing on top of it. Like, damn, like I'd use that. I'd actually use that for planning fits. It's kind of hard sometimes. I know I'm a guy, but I try.
Do you have any other topics?
I don't have others on here, but I did want to talk a bit about like what it means to have a personal brand a little bit more. I know last episode we talked about it a bit, but why delivering certain types of values work and why it works for certain audiences, and maybe how you should niche it. I know you know a lot about this subject, and I think you should give some of the sauce on this.
For personal brand content, I feel like how to give. What's the question? Like how to get the sauce.
How to find like your own personal brand, because so many people kind of go all over the place. Some people try to do too much motivation, but they don't like really make it because it's not unique to them. How to find your own unique way of delivering a message to the world and do it on scale and repeat it.
I feel like it's about anything that you love. If you love to do something, I would just record it and start to post about it, talk about it like we're doing right now. Like we love entrepreneurship. We love talking to people, networking, and figuring out their stories on how they build their company.
We're gonna wrap up today's episode. We all got some things to do. It's a little bit shorter, but we'll be back soon. And Aidan will also be on again. He didn't really go in depth about what he's doing. We definitely want him to, but and you can explain why.
Yeah, so I got a pitch competition in just a few more days. I want to just fully lock in on that right now. I'm gonna keep some stuff under wraps, and then after that, I'd love to give a deep dive to the company.
So yeah, we might let him back on another time. But
yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Aidan, for coming.
But yeah, really, thank you for coming, bro. And yeah, this is a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed